Talent? It's a nice word, isn't it? It's that word everyone loves to use. Oh, he's talented. Born for this. It's a gift. But let me tell you something. Talent alone gets you nowhere. It's just a starting point. What really gets you there, what separates dreamers from achievers, is effort. It's the hard, daily, relentless work. How many people have you seen with talent who never went anywhere? They started strong, impressed everyone, but they stopped because they believed their gift was enough. But effort never stops. It's there, every day, pushing, building, overcoming. Effort beats talent, always. Because talent rests, but effort keeps going. And do you know what that means? You don't have to be the most talented to win. You just need to be the most dedicated, the most committed, the one who shows up every day, rain or shine. Look, everyone loves to talk about success, but no one talks about the sweat that came before. That person you admire, the one you think has talent, they're where they are because they chose to work harder than anyone else. They knew that their gift alone wouldn't do the work for them. They knew that true strength lies in effort. Talent may open the door, but it's effort that keeps you inside. And do you know the best part? Effort is something anyone can have. It's not exclusive, it's not luck, it's not privilege. It's a decision, it's an attitude. It's you waking up and deciding to give your best, no matter how you feel or where you are. So let me ask you, are you waiting for talent, or are you building results? Because here's the truth, the world doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to those who dare to try harder, to those who get up when no one is watching, to those who keep going, even when it's hard. What do you choose? To rest on talent or to win with effort? The choice is yours. Talent without effort is like a luxury car without gas. It's impressive. Everyone looks at it and thinks, wow, what potential. But do you know what happens if you don't fuel it? It stays still. It doesn't matter how beautiful or powerful it is. Without effort, it goes nowhere. And that's the truth. Talent alone takes you nowhere. It might give you a head start, but it doesn't guarantee you'll cross the finish line. Because what really defines who wins isn't how you start, but how much you dedicate yourself along the way. Think about a river and a stone. The stone is hard, resistant, seemingly unmovable. The river is fluid, persistent, always in motion. Now, do you know what happens when the two meet? The river wins, not because it's stronger, but because it never stops. Day by day, it wears the stone down, reshaping it. Effort is the river, talent is the stone. And guess who always wins in the end? How many times have you heard about someone who had everything to succeed, but didn't? Someone with talent who wasted it because they thought it was enough? The world is full of talented people left behind. And do you know why? Because they underestimated the power of hard work. They believed their natural gift was sufficient. But effort doesn't rest. It doesn't quit. It always moves ahead. Talent without effort is like a light bulb without electricity. It doesn't matter how bright it could be. Without energy, it doesn't shine. And do you know what's incredible? Effort doesn't need talent to shine. It creates its own light. Dedication, consistency, and the will to improve make it possible for anyone to achieve the extraordinary. Now let me remind you, effort isn't glamorous. It doesn't get applause at the start. It's lonely, exhausting, often invisible, but it's what makes the difference. It's what turns potential into reality, dreams into achievements. It's what reveals who truly deserves to win. So, if today you feel like you're not as talented as others, let that go. Because what really matters isn't the starting point. It's your willingness to keep going. Talent might get you to the starting line, but it's effort that takes you to the finish. Remember this, the world doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most hardworking. And what are you doing today to build your future? Take Michael Jordan. Today, he's remembered as the greatest basketball player of all time. An icon, a legend. But do you know what many people forget? He didn't get there just because of talent. He got there because he decided no one would outwork him. When Jordan was in high school, he was cut from the basketball team. Cut. Can you imagine? He could have given up right then. He could have accepted that he wasn't good enough. But do you know what he did? He turned that rejection into fuel. He started training every day, tirelessly. While others rested, he was in the gym, shooting, running, perfecting every move. Jordan had talent, of course, But what set him apart from everyone else was effort. He trained as if he had no natural gift, as if every point depended on his dedication. He used to say, "Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and others make it happen." He was the one who made it happen. Effort is that. It's showing up every day, even when no one is watching. It's training like you have everything to prove, even when you're already good. Because talent might get you into the game, but effort is what makes you win. Think about this. How many players were born with as much talent as Jordan? Plenty. But how many worked as hard as he did? Few, if any. And that's why he's remembered, while so many others are forgotten. Because effort doesn't rest. It's there, day after day, building strength, resilience, and results. Jordan wasn't just a player. He was a living example of how hard work surpasses any limit. He used to show up to practice before everyone else and leave after everyone was gone. He never relied solely on what came naturally to him. He knew that what really makes the difference is what you do when no one is watching. Effort is the game changer. It's how Jordan faced each day, each game, each defeat. He didn't see obstacles as problems, but as opportunities to grow. Each practice, each failure, was another step toward greatness. And do you know the lesson? You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the most dedicated. Because the world doesn't belong to those who start with the biggest advantage. It belongs to those who are willing to work the hardest, to keep going even when everything seems to be against them. Resilience. That's the word that separates those who make it from those who fall behind. Because, let me remind you, the journey to achieve anything great isn't easy. There will be moments when results simply don't show up. Times when it feels like nothing is working, that all your effort was in vain. But that's exactly when resilience steps in. Think about Thomas Edison, the inventor of the electric light bulb. He failed more than 1,000 times before finally succeeding. Do you know what he said about it? "I didn't fail 1,000 times. I discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work." That's resilience. It's understanding that every attempt, even the ones that don't succeed, is one step closer to your goal. Now look at J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She was rejected by 12 publishers before someone believed in her story's potential. 12 no's. Imagine how easy it would have been to give up after so much rejection. But she didn't. She believed in her work, in her vision, and kept going. Today, not only has she built one of the biggest franchises in history, but she has also inspired millions around the world. Resilience is this, continuing even when no one believes in you, even when everything inside you wants to stop. Because the secret isn't in talent, it's in those who insist, who don't stop, who refuse to give up. Think about Oprah Winfrey. She was fired from her first job as a TV anchor because they said she didn't have the profile. Today, she's one of the most influential women in the world. Why? Because she didn't let someone else's no define her future. She kept working, learning, believing. And do you know what all these stories have in common? They didn't let discouragement win. They understood that progress is sometimes slow, but every small step counts. It's easy to keep going when things are going well. But true strength shows up when you persist, even when results seem far away. It's like planting a tree. At first you water it, care for it, and see nothing. It seems like nothing is happening. But beneath the ground, roots are growing, strengthening. And one day that tree begins to sprout, to grow, to bear fruit. Life is like that. Results take time, but that doesn't mean you're not advancing. So when discouragement hits, remember these stories. Remember that those who rely solely on talent give up when things get tough. But those who rely on effort, consistency, resilience, they keep going. And that's precisely why they win. Don't stop. Every day, every attempt, every effort takes you one step closer to what you want. And when the world finally sees what you've built, they'll realize it all started with your resilience. Enough with the excuses. Enough with saying you don't have time, don't have luck, weren't born with talent. Because let me remind you, the world doesn't want to hear your excuses. It respects only those who show up every day, without justification, to do what needs to be done. You know someone like that, don't you? Maybe it's your mom, your dad, your grandparents. That person who never gave up, even when life threw everything against them. The person who woke up early, faced hard work, and did everything to ensure you had more opportunities. And they didn't complain. They didn't make excuses. They just did. Remember your mom, who may have sacrificed personal dreams to ensure you had a future? Or your dad, who went to work even when he was tired because he knew the responsibility was in his hands. These people are living examples of how effort always overcomes difficulties. They chose not to complain about life. They chose to act. And do you know what this means? That you can do the same. That you can stop hiding behind excuses and start building the life you want. Because effort, dedication, persistence, all of that is within your reach. It's all up to you. Look, you don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the most dedicated. Do you know who wins? It's not the one who has everything handed to them. It's the one who gets up every day, looks in the mirror, and chooses to give their best, even when they don't feel like it. It's the one who understands that victory doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. Consistency is the bridge between effort and results. It's not enough to try hard for a day, a week, or even a month. True achievement comes from doing the work, day in and day out, without giving up. It's about showing up, even on the days when motivation is low, when the results seem far away, and when no one is watching. Consistency is the reason why the tortoise beats the hare. It's not about speed, it's about persistence. The tortoise didn't stop. Step by step, it kept moving forward, while the hare, confident in its natural abilities, rested. And in the end, the tortoise crossed the finish line first. That's what consistency does. It keeps you in the game until you win. Think about this. Every drop of water wears away the hardest rock. Every brick builds a wall. Every step brings you closer to your destination. It's not about giant leaps. It's about the small, consistent actions you take every single day. Success isn't an overnight event. It's the result of those tiny, almost invisible efforts that add up over time. Waking up earlier to study, spending an extra hour perfecting your craft, saying no to distractions so you can focus on your goals. These actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they're what create extraordinary results. Do you know what kills consistency? Excuses. I'm too tired today. It's just one day off. I'll start again tomorrow. These small lies steal your momentum and make it harder to keep going. And the truth is, the longer you wait to act, the harder it becomes to start again. But here's the good news. You can choose differently. Every time you feel like making an excuse, remind yourself of what you want most. Is skipping the work today worth delaying your dreams? Is giving in to comfort now worth sacrificing the life you're trying to build? Discipline is the foundation of consistency. It's what keeps you moving forward when motivation runs out. Because, let's be honest, motivation is fleeting. It's like a spark. It lights up for a moment and fades. But discipline is like a flame. It stays lit because you've trained yourself to act, no matter how you feel. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. It's understanding that every sacrifice you make today will pay off in the future. Think about the person you want to become. The version of you who has achieved their dreams, who lives the life they've always wanted. That person isn't someone who gave up when things got hard. They're someone who stayed consistent, disciplined, and focused. Now ask yourself, what would that version of me do today? Would they skip the work, or would they push forward? Every choice you make brings you closer to or further from that person. The world belongs to the consistent. The ones who keep showing up, who keep trying, who refuse to quit. And the best part? Consistency is something anyone can achieve. It doesn't require talent, luck, or special circumstances. It only requires your decision to start and your commitment to keep going. So, what are you waiting for? Start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for motivation. Take the first step, no matter how small, and then take another. Keep moving forward, one day at a time, and watch as your small efforts build into something extraordinary. Because in the end, effort overcomes talent, consistency overcomes obstacles, and discipline creates the life you want. The power is already within you. All you have to do is act.